Hey you guys, so one of the questions that I get pretty regularly is, have you ever given herpes to anybody? And the answer is yep. Um and do you feel bad about it if you did? And the answer is no. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so story time. I dated a guy, and actually, if you watch the video that I did yesterday, this all ties together, so it'll kind of make sense. So the guy that I previously dated, we had kind of dated before, and this is before I knew that I had herpes. Um, and so when we did reconnect and we did start speaking again was after I found out that I had herpes, and I told him. Disclosing to him is a whole nother story, but basically, I disclosed to him. He was cool with it, whatever. And then he later came out and told me, by the way, you gave me herpes. And I'm like, excuse me, who do what now? Um, and he said that I had given it to him, and that was something that he was actually going to bring up before that I disclosed to him. I just happened to disclose first. And so my initial thought was, how you know it was me? I ain't known I had herpes that long, so I'm just like, don't be pinning stuff on me that ain't got nothing to do with me. Um, but I'm, quickly moved on to that, and the biggest thing that hit was like guilt. Like I felt awful, y'all, because at this point I'm like celibate. I'm still like semi dealing with the fact that I got herpes. Like ain't got over it all the way yet. And this Negro was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you gave me herpes." Like, pause. Um. So yeah, he went on to say that he found out. Well, the way that he told me, he said that I gave it to him, and that he knew it was me because he hadn't been with anybody else before. Like basically, we were together. We stopped talking. He got into a relationship. Apparently, must have given it to the girl, or the girl must have said something to him. That he was with after me. He hadn't been with anybody between us, so he knew it was me. That was what I was told. So was feeling awful. Like I felt horrible for probably like 3 weeks, y'all. I was just like completely distraught. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. And when I asked him, he's like, he wasn't mad. He just wanted me to know. Um, and I was in total freak out mode because that was one of my biggest fears was giving it to somebody else. And even though that's not the reason that I became celibate, it was also very helpful in that situation because I was like, well, my fear is giving it to somebody else, and I'm already celibate, so at least that eliminates that possibility. Even though I was concerned already about the fact that before I became celibate, I didn't know I had herpes, and so I was already concerned. Is there a possibility that I had given it to somebody? And I felt the need to go back and disclose to people, which is part of the reason that I told him, also because we were reconnecting. But I felt the need to go back to these guys that I had been messing with and disclose to them. Not all of them. I ain't gonna sit here and tell y'all that I went like down my little black book and called every nigga I don't mess with, because that's a bold faced lie. I didn't, but I felt the need to go back and tell people, and he just happened to be one of them. And so when I did go back and tell people, most of them were like, "Oh no, I'm straight. I'm good. I don't know when they got tested. Whether they got tested or not, I don't know. That ain't my business. I did my part. I told them." But I told the most recent people. And so everybody that I told said they were in the clear. And then out of nowhere, here he come. It was like, "Yep, you gave it to me." So I was like, oh, okay. So I felt really, really bad. And it took, like I said, it took about 3 weeks. And it actually took my friend saying something to me to be like, "What you feel bad for?" Because one, I didn't know. So she's like, "How you feel bad? You didn't even know." Which is very true. I had no idea. And had I known, I would have said something. I wasn't just gonna be out here not disclosing. Um, I can't even say that, but I would have said something because I would have felt bad not disclosing. And then two, it wasn't nothing I can do about it. Like it's not something that could have been changed. It's nothing I could have took back. He's okay with it. He's cool with it. He wasn't flipping out or anything like that, or cussing me out or tripping over it. So once I got to that part, and it took me a minute to accept the fact that he had accepted it and wasn't mad then it kind of released me from myself to not be upset with it. So for those of you who have either given it to somebody or are concerned about the fact that you gave it to somebody, or somebody's accusing you of giving it to them, I know it's easier said than done, say not trip about it, but if you found out that you gave it to somebody, forgive yourself for what you did not know. If you didn't know, especially if you didn't know and you didn't disclose, if you did know and you did not disclose, still forgive yourself. I would highly suggest apologizing, because I'd be a little teed if somebody did that to me. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that can be done about it now. The damage is done. Apologize, move on with life, and start disclosing. Like, at the end of the day, you would want somebody to show you that courtesy. If I can say anything, I can say that that's one thing that I was blessed to have. And I try to provide people with that choice, regardless of how cute they are, what their social status is, how much money they got, how low that thing swing, how good it might be. I still give people a choice, because that choice was given to me and I would never want to take it away from anybody. And there are a lot of people out here who do have herpes that didn't get that choice. And yeah, that's about it. This one's gonna be short and sweet, y'all. I ain't really got too much to say about it. But outside of that, another thing, like I said, without questioning whether it was me, I just had to kind of let that go and realize that, as ridiculous as that timeline sounded, I also understand wanting to identify where it came from. I was one of those people who was blessed to have that. So I was just kind of okay with taking on, like, okay, well, if you need somebody to blame, I'll take it. It's good, you know. I ain't gonna trip about it. Probably wasn't me. Maybe it was. Hell, I don't know. It's not really a way to tell that. But if you need to feel like you can identify with it, then cool. So don't fret if somebody is saying it, and it may be true, and you may be the one who did it. You may be the one who not, but it's nothing to really stress yourself out over. Like I said, I know that's easier said than done, but the biggest thing is forgiving yourself, and realizing that there's nothing that can be done. You can't take it back. You can't change it, and moving on with your life. So y'all have a good night.